Yes, welcome to YouTube channel, dear students. Dear friends, I am Dr. Prashant Mandre. So I did my PhD from Karnataka University. I have cleared KSET. Even I have cleared UGC NET examinations. So today I am going to discuss about the introduction to the English literature. That is a very important part for UGC NET examinations aspirants, even for KSET examination aspirants, and for other competitive exams. Especially in Karnataka, it is helpful for high school recruitment, even for PUC recruitment also. Dear students, we all know that as we have completed MA in English, and after that we know the literature. We have uh, seen British literature, American literature, Russian literature, German literature, Australian literature. So like that, so we know everything, even diasporic writing, culture studies, criticism, and all the things. But in the most of the question papers and most of the examinations, if you are going through the question papers, you will see that there are many questions they have asked on English literature, especially on British literature. That is very important, and it is one of the best literature in the world. Where when you are reading British literature, you know there are the greatest writers came and they have written a wonderful works. You see that who are the great writers? You just ask. People will tell the name of Shakespeare, John Milton, John Keats, Wordsworth. No, so there are very wonderful writers, wonderful works they have written. So that's why. So how it has begun, how it has emerged. So that we will see in this particular class. So, dear students, it is an introduction to English literature. We can visit our YouTube channel. There we will get some other videos also on English literature, on criticism, on various topics. Even especially if you want to know about a grammar, there are many videos are there. You just go and check the things. Okay, dear students, let's begin with the literature, how it has started. Okay, so that is a very important part for us is knowing the ideas. Okay. Yes. Introduction. See here, English literature is very important, dear students. We all know that. So what I did here, I have the following an overview of the major periods of English literature. We are going to discuss about major periods of English literature, in what period which writer comes and what they have written. A very on outline idea I will give you in this class. So where you will be knowing about what are the periods and that what are their works, the authors and their works in this particular class. Okay, so from 1450 to 1660, the Old English Anglo-Saxon period. Dear students, we all know that first this Anglo-Saxon period is very important. There are the two tribal communities were there in England, and before Anglo and Saxon, they have an individual language, Anglo and Saxon. When they have collaborated, and that language has called as Anglo-Saxon period, the tribal communities, and after that they start writing about there are many folk songs, folk stories, and they have their own literature also. There it has not written. We are there is only one work is there in English before, in the Beowulf. It is the first English work, what we call Beowulf is the first English epic or work as published. It is in a written form. It is published in that after that in the 16th century or 17th century, but before it has been written there. So Beowulf is anonymous writer has written that. Don't know who was the writer, but it is talking about that two tribal culture, tradition. Okay, so here the Old English period of the Anglo-Saxon period refers to the literature produced from the invasion of Celtic England by Germanic tribes in the first half of the 5th century to the conquest of England in 1066 by William William the Conqueror. So before that, it there in between 1450 to 1066. This is the period where the English language has been developed. So the language developed, there are folk stories were there are tales were there, but in a 5th century, I think 5th or 6th century, Beowulf is called as the first work. Okay, Beowulf is the first English work published in that period. It is a written work, but I don't know who has written that. But in that period, only Beowulf is the first thing. It is about a king, how there is a one evil man is there to kill that fellow. Beowulf came and he killed that things. Okay, that is the story of that things, and with that they have written about their own culture, tradition, everything. It has there in that particular thing. So this period is very important for us, where the English language has been started. After that, the Seafarer is there again. There is another work. Continuously they have written on that time. So it is going on. So that's why it has developed like this. So in a 1450 this period is very important for English students to know about how the language has been emerged and how the writers have started writing in this particular period. After that, we will not get any works after it. Even in 1066 they have conquered the England and they came there, they start ruling. There are many religious works, mythological works, or even they have influenced by this Greek literature and Roman literature. They have started writing on Christianity, Iliad, Odyssey. Iliad and Odyssey is very important. See, dear students, English don't have a such great epics like India have a Ramayana and Mahabharata like that. So, but they have taken from Greek and Roman literature. They have influenced by that, and that's why for English literature, Iliad and Odyssey is a base. The foundation works. Even Virgil's Aeneid, they have borrowed many things, many ideas from that, and they have developed. So even when you are reading Indian literature, you will get that idea, the Indianness, or even Ramayana, Mahabharata influence on the works, whatever the Indian writers are writing. So that's why like that only, when you are reading English literature, there you will get to know that how they have taken many ideas, many things from British, Rome and Greek literature. So that's why the Iliad and Odyssey is the basic works. Iliad is very important work, Iliad and Odyssey. So these works, they are the two great epics, are very important. As an English literature student, we must read that. Even Aristotle, Plato, or Horace, Longinus, they have all mentioned about Homer. Homer is one of the greatest writer of all the time. Why? Because though he has a blind, he has created such a great works. Iliad, you just read that the Troy of Helen. So how happened? So how he has created a greatest characters, greatest warriors. Odyssey, such a great character. Achilles, Helen, Paris. See how great characters he has introduced, and the story which has been connecting to a people. So that's why they are the two basic works is influencing English literature. Though it has started from the 4th or 5th century. English language has started in that time only. So it has emerged. See that it has started in this period, but it has have its own capacities. Okay, so that's why this is very important, dear student. And from 1062 to 1500, medieval English period. It is called as a medieval English period. The medieval English period consists of a literature produced in the 4.5 of a century between the Norman conquest of 1066 and about 1500, when the standard literary language became recognized as a modern English. So in this period, you can see that the Bible become a very important here. There are many writers start focusing on Bible works. They are all writing on these ideas, and especially that Latin and Latin language, Latin literature. There are many writers were influenced by these things. Even in beginning of literature, they are all focusing on, they have influenced by Latin literature, especially Latin and French literature. They are all writing about on that thing, and that is a knowledge means knowing the Latin and French language or Greek or Roman language. You know, such great ideas were there on before things. You know, in between this period, you know, there are many important works, tales, stories, mythological stories, miracle stories, mysterious stories has been written, especially the Castle of Preservance, Every Man, you know, such works. They are all writing miracle, mystery dramas they have written, and they are all writing on Bible. There are translation has been going on Bible. There are different type of writers came and they are all writing. Even they have influenced by Dante, Boccaccio, some other writers from French and Latin and French. They have taken and they have written their works. Especially in this period only, the Chaucer came. Chaucer is called as the father of English literature or a father of English poetry, said by John Dryden. Why he called him as a father of English poetry? Because, you know, before that there are many things has been written. It's not that literature, there are many writers were writing, but anonymously they are publishing, we don't know. But he is the only first writer who is writing in a very systematic manner. You know, in a systematic way. You know, first he has written in his period is divided into three parts, like Italian, French and English period. In English period he has written Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales has become very, very important. Even you take Chaucer's works, you know, in Book of Duchess, Troilus and Cressida, House of the Pame, many important works he has written. So he has influenced by Boccaccio's Decameron to write this Canterbury Tales, where he has focusing on the English people and English, culture, English society, English people. They has taken, you know, you just go through these Canterbury Tales, there you can see that he is writing about a friar, he is writing about a knights, he is writing about a nuns there, all the important things. So that's why the English literature is emerging, especially in Chaucer period. You know, the Chaucer is become very, very important writer, and followers of him, even Langland, even Gower, even after that Thomas More. These writers, post-Chaucerian writers, are also start writing about the Indianness and the epics, dream allegories. They are writing on various topics there on that time, especially Thomas More's Utopia. You know, he is writing about he is creating one ideal world there. So how the king should be, or the world state should be, or the nation should be, and third. So this spirit is a very, very, very important for us as a English literature student. We must understand these things. You know, when in the upcoming classes I will discuss everything. You know, Chaucer's period, what is there in that, how it has been divided, and what is House of Fame, what is Claes and Cressida, what is Legend of Good Omens. Everything we will discuss in that. But I am giving only the gist of the ideas, the period. Which period comes in English literature and theory. Okay, so and after that, from 1062 to Middle English period, prior to the second half of the 14th century, literature consists primarily of the religious writings. It is very important, dear students. The religious writers, you know, there are religious works. Even Bible become very, very important, and you know, don't know. Especially in from the 11th century to 14th century, the church become very, very important. Church is the center of the things. So that's why this religious writings were started in that period, English. So that's why it has been going on. The second half of the 14th century produced the first great age of a secular literature. Not really secular literature, they are writing on humanism. Just remember this word there, students. On that time, there are many humanists comes and they are all writing human values, human beings, individual ideas, individual thoughts. So what happened especially in this moment, the Renaissance started in Italy, Renaissance period. When the Constantinople fall happened in 1453, there are many people have migrated to Italy and other European countries. When they came, they are coming with their knowledge. when they suddenly came with, and it's artistic movement, it is a rebirth of artistic movement on that time happened. There are many new type of things came to England, and the England people are there, they are very intelligent people. Whatever the new things comes now, dear friends, they will grasp that, they will take that. So here also they did the same thing. So they are start writing about the secular literature. The most widely known writing of the Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, the anonymously Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and the Thomas Malory's Morte d'Arthur. So Thomas Malory's this work is very, very important. So where they are all writing on the humanistic ideas, human values, human feelings, human emotions, human being, what is only, it is not only, before that, what is there in a Bible, we have to follow that, we have to surrender. Every week we should go to a Sunday we have to go to a church, we should listen the words of a Pope, and we have to follow that. And Pope, at that time, you don't know, there are many things has been deciding in the church. So that's why church become more important, and people are wanted to know what is this religion, religious ideas, spirituality, God. There is a love between God and man. That's why you see that there are many great works written on God and epic. Epic is based on the ideas. These type of ideas, you say, take that Paradise Lost. In a Paradise Lost, what he has written, he is writing about a God. You take in this period only the Bible has been translated into English. There are many things happened. So that's why this period is very, very important, where Chaucer came. Even after that, Sir Gawain and Green Knight he has written. Thomas Malory came, he has written something, and even Langland and Gower, they are also writing, and the English literature has been emerging in this movement, and they have been influenced by Latin and French language. That is a different thing, but they are writing the things. It's very important. After this, in 1500 to 1600, this is the Renaissance period. I told you, dear students, what happened in 1453, Constantinople fall has happened. So there are many people have been migrated from that places. These Ottoman Turks are start taking all these knowledgeable men, and they are start killing them. So that's why what they did, they took their all books, knowledge and all these things, they have migrated. They went to other countries. First the language, the Renaissance started in Italy. After that it has come to the other places. So here the Renaissance means it is an artistic movement. It is the rebirth of artistic movement. The artistic movement is not only about the literature, it is about music, it is about paintings, it is about dance, it is about music. The artistic things has been emerged and they have developed. So here in a 15th to 16th century, in 1558, the Elizabethan age has been started. In 1558, Elizabethan become a queen of England. So that's why this word Elizabethan age came, and she is the first. Before that there are some writers like Thomas More. Thomas More has been written Utopia. It is one of the very, very important work. It is writing about all the things. Even the Thomas Watt and Surrey, they came and they have introduced Thomas Watt and Surrey. So they have introduced sonnets, and Surrey has introduced blank verse. It were there, but these people have introduced to a English literature. So that's why these are the very important part, and development in English literature is happening. But when English Elizabethan queen become a queen of England, and this Elizabethan has allowed any writers to write on many issues. So that's why Edmund Spenser, Philip Sidney, Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, they have all comes in her age, and they have produced a very wonderful period. So that's why this period is called as the golden period for English literature. Why? Because the greatest writers like Spenser, Philip Sidney, Shakespeare, Marlowe, No, they have very important, any other writers also there in this period. They have came and they have written a very wonderful works. If you read English literature, without these writers, English literature is incomplete. They have written such wonderful works, dear students. You know, they are all writing. Spencer, Edmund Spencer's. Just think that Fairy Queen, one of the greatest work. Shepherd's Calendar, you see that how great it is. And Philip Sidney has written great critical works as well as the sonnet collections. Okay, Astrophel and Stella, it is a collection of sonnets. 108 sonnets are there, nearly 111 poems are there in that. So he has written wonderful works. So even he has written the Apology for Poetry, critical work. And even Shakespeare, you know that Shakespeare is one of the greatest writer. Even his works, his plays, his dramas, historical, romance, comedies, tragic comedies, tragedies, you know, everything is famous about Shakespeare. He has written two long narrative poems, even 154 sonnets in that. So that's why Shakespeare. Marlowe is one of the greatest tragedian. You know, tragedy, he has written 7 plays and all 7 plays are tragedies. Even he has written Dido the Carthage and one poem he has written, it is an incomplete poem. After that, some other writer has completed that. So that's why this is the development, you know, this is the golden period for English literature because such great original works has been published on that. So this period is very important for us. We will go thoroughly about these things. I am giving introduction to these things. After that, from 1603 to 1625, this is called as the Jacobean age because James I become a king of England. That's why this page called as a Jacobean. This is also a very important age because in this period only the Shakespeare has written his great tragedies. Metaphysical poetry came here. John Donne is become a very important writer here. Ben Jonson came. Ben Jonson has started a comedy of manners in this period. So that's why this period has got its own richness. So that's why this is also a very important period. All the Shakespeare's tragedies, great tragedies has published in this period only. And after that, from 1625 to 1642, it is called as the Carolean age. Carolean age means Charles I become a king of England. So Charles I become a king of England here. So that's why this period called as the Carolean age. There are 3, Robert Herrick, Lovelace and Suckling. There are the 3 writers are there, Lovelace, Robert Herrick and Suckling. So these are the 3 major writers come. They are the followers of Charles I. One of a fellow when Charles I has beheaded, has been killed. So one of a writer has got suicide. Why? Because he is such a followers. They are the great followers of the king on that time. So even metaphysical poetry, Abraham Cowley and some other writers also the part of this period, Cavalier writers they have called. So that's why these 3 periods are very important in a Renaissance movement. Before the Renaissance started in the 15th century, but after that how the literature has been developed on Odana, we have seen in this period only. So from 1642 to 1660, it is called as a Commonwealth period, Puritan age. You know, in this period, Charles I has been beheaded on a parliamentarians came to a rule and Oliver Cromwell become a Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister of England. So in a Prime Minister, as a Prime Minister, he ruled from 1642 to 1658. So this period is called as the Puritan age or the Commonwealth age, where the secular theatre has been banned this time. In this period, theatre has been banned because the religious, Puritans are very orthodox people. There is only one thing we can see about a God and only Christianity is very important, and they are not following this church and Pope ideas and other things. So that's why this Commonwealth period is very important for us. There in this period only, John Milton comes. John Milton has written some of the very great Aeropagitica ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬರಕಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ there is no freedom for a press on that time. He has written Aeropagitica where he is writing about the freedom of press, and even he wrote some divorce and some works in this period some essays. But he is great work Paradise Lost published afterwards, but in before he has written many works in that period only. I mean, like John Dryden is there. He is such a great writer of that time. He is writing about many issues in this period only. The English literary renaissance began with the English humanists such as Sir Thomas More and Sir Thomas Watt. Notice Sir Thomas More ಮತ್ತು Sir Thomas Watt has called as the great humanist of that time only. Okay, so after that the Elizabethan age coincides with the reign of Elizabethan I, 1558 to 1603. The lyrical poetry, prose, drama were the major style of a literature that flourished during the English age. Important writers of English age includes William Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, Edmund Spenser, Thomas Riley, Ben Jonson. There are great writers of that time. They have came and they have written a wonderful works. You know, Shakespeare, the whole Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, Allah, Julius Caesar, Romeo Juliet, The Tempest, how wonderful works he has written. Christopher Marlowe, just see that. Dr. Faustus, Tamburlaine the Great, Dido the Carthage, Dido the Queen of Carthage. Allah, so very greatest works, especially Dr. Faustus, you must read that, one of the greatest work in the history of English literature. Edmund Spenser's works, Dr. Virgilius, Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson is very, very important. He started Comedy of Errors. Nodri, Comedy of Humor anna start ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, Comedy of Humor. Comedy of Humor ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ he has written. Wolfone ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಬರೀತಾನೆ. There are many other works he has been written on that time. In a Jacobean age coincides with the reign of James I. It is started from 1600 through to 1625. Okay, the Jacobean age produced the rich prose and drama as well as the King James translation of a Bible. You know, it is very, very important. Here the translation of a Bible has been done in this period, and the Shakespeare and Johnson wrote during the Jacobean as well as the John Donne, Francis Bacon and Thomas Middleton are very, very important. Francis Bacon is a very, very important. He is called as the father of English essays. Father of English essay anta ಕರಿತೀವ್ರಿ ನಿಮಗೆ, because he has written such a wonderful great works and advancement of learning ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಬರೀತಾನ್ರಿ. It is a scientific work where it is also one of a very greatest work, but he has written many essays on human nature. He has writing on friendship, love, jealousy, education, everything, you know, all the topics melanu kuda essays he has written, wonderful essays he has written. John Donne, he is one of the greatest poet of all the time. Such a great poetry he has written. Metaphysical poetry has started. It is writing about a beyond our imagination. He is writing about a conceits. He is writing the extended metaphor na use ಮಾಡಿ. He compared the whole room to the whole world. You know, ಒಂದು ಪೊಯಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನ್ರಿ, ಅವನು ಸೂರ್ಯ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ತಾನ, ಅವನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಬಾಳೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. They love his wife so much. So he was I don't know, I am not remembering the exact poem name, but in that poem he called, oh son, oh old busy fellow, why you are coming? No, oh old busy fellow ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾನ್ರಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ. You, if you want to come ಅಂದ್ರೆ you just come to our room and go, it's your work is done. Why? Because my wife is everything to me, the whole world is here with me ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅಂದರೆ such a comparison, extended comparison he has did in his poetry, and his poems, Canonization, Sunny Rising, Good Morrow, greatest poetry. You have to read, as an English literature student, you must read John Donne poems, and after that John Herbert, some other writers comes. I will discuss about them in next classes. Okay, the Caroline age, the coincides with the reign of Charles I, 1625 to 1649. The writers of this age wrote about refinement and elegance in the era of produce a circle of poets known as the Cavalier poets. Cavalier poets ಮೂರು ಜನ ರೀ, you must remember. Herrick, Lovelace and Suckling, ಮೂರು ಜನ. Okay, and they dramatist, this were the last two writers the Elizabethan tradition.